ganyi many ashiso ni maso na maso a obabole kutu o pe atwape wo no bem wo blow yati wo say yati kaji wo jenu wo jibuwe wo ye ko wonu no wo konja me ajo o machine o ko ba jo to enwe wa bomi hye ngbaji ni tetela te dromo afi wo no ne ya fi su ha o afi politics ta mo boni wo kwa so mo nye she face wo ke man wo no wo ye obie mo ba ngo shida kleke hani ji heartbeat homeopathic clinic Helios Care Center ke na gbe mo ni ji the base vet case job madam o se wo ke Leebi Ŋulami ni fi mo ba ni gbe no ni gonti ajo ni atupa e if you know your me body money enche Jones Nikwe aka Cloud Sounds Mrs Dodu me krok me fe Alfred me krok me fe ba fata wo emene so ha ne okay dromo fe afi wo no dromo afi wo no lele wo wa ko malem nsa no ke fe wo de hie moncho no ba ngo shida kleke if you believe prayer ministry be I can live now because we mo ibeba ha wo ko ni won wo ke for michon jiramlin when I walk in Psalm 27 verse 5. Okay, for in the day of trouble, for in the day of trouble, he will keep me safe in his dwelling. He will hide me in the shelter of his sacred tent and set me high upon the rock. Like oh, but it's like a Solomon because we are not fan. No, if I were any favor they hear much. When I have politics, one quick. Niji budget watch atu forcing we mo neighbor hwe no jingmene no tete obakwa nkenche Frank mutifafa ya shiamu do o mkan dis ku ablekuma central
no
ablekuma south keke ke ya hie o kwa ke onyeme mu baba yisen lo no GNDC MPP bi baba yisen ke wona ke wogbla sanemi ojugba o se Frank mi abojiko
manojino
atweche fiu
be utawo
na kanu chumoda amatone na ke nyegbijin egbele ni hindo ohun no itamo be ko ni oni na bi na ka she fence work to for God and country.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Me and no makola ke be if yeah few at least me free no trame na kan ba be maba bongo
nje
Mentoni
be sake solimo
Mentoni be sure aji
what they know Jimmy
bongo before ni I'll touch on what do we call it the main topic here. I want to first and foremost greet my viewers. Hello our viewers many nkwa wo nga melebi ne boko yani station say fa she can melembo ikutwe masumo ni mabo umashitwe wokaji mo in that time they care about umashitwe be ntwa ke begbo mo he knows the importance of Umashi TV can be na you e bi e wole mu efemini etu na ke ba kwe bongo before ni ma continue in everything that we do we need God. Worship day, woniyeli, will be a bar. Everything we do without God, human being cannot even locomote. Alone, when you feel locomote. Anyone need quite a fair especially those within the Mamplubi enclave. In Pamify. No fear no fear. Anya wakai akeshi. Somo. First, then kwake Then myself, I'll go into the Bible, Matthew. Is it Matthew 6? Matthew 26? I can't really. Where it talks about how to pray, how to fast. Well, if you're me to book mean solid, it mean blow okay. But Babongo, my pastor made me to understand the real reason and mode of prayers. I don't pray. Sometimes I will touch okay. Can you somebody can tell me? But I'm telling you today on authority. Okay, I saw more. I have found one, and I'm a member of I'm a member of that church. The Spirit Life Ministries, Mamprubi branch. ni the leader actually Prophet Michael Akoto. Bongo, maybe I don't know you. Last one came and call a Presbyterian Jew Methodist.
Yeah,
Anglican. Bongo Fane, Sunday ne. I want to invite you to my church. Bongo Fane, Jay, Nika be a shen, mean trouble, I go food. No, I came here. O Fagbe. Ote ayawa so, ote be, me babufai. Me Tony Obani Oba experience what we call fellowship. But there was a time I come here, I some money, yeah, so because I've gone to a lot of churches, but I entered that church auditorium and I saw the light. Forget I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. I may do things that are not right. But always, the teachings of Prophet Michael Akoto reminds me, okay, non inferior in some affinity. Bible like a bar ke ha jalo she ba ha many fear sha. Nenye femini e chake. Okake beni parable ni Jesus say ke to ekumi 100 nyoma ekumi laji no chete atawe ekumi eni ba na ba emi she ake na ekumi. So we those who don't know God and don't repent we are the lost sheep. So when one of us is found there, the kingdom of heaven rejoice. Over Bonumish or Bogo Fani. Opposite and probably post office.
Okay.
Or make Papa Fire Bongo. Ne Sunday ne. Masumoni Kebufe where? Leebi man past 6. Just come by 9 o'clock and walk back. Come and witness, come back. Nobody will tell you, okay, you have entered the house of God, where there is solution. Okay. Where you feel like you are part of those who are children of God. Or no funny. I'm number 2. Leebi Minga Tivet, Director General, in the person of Dr. Eric Bedro. This morning, my greetings to you, boss. I'll be visiting the office today or Monday. You are doing a good job. Keep it up. We want people like you to man the various government agencies and departments based on your competencies and your love for the job and for Mother Ghana. So, Bongo, only you're living in my ear for me.
Naka iskome kome wanyo kwa na shamo ya Facebook niji Omashi Media. Watch team live leo ya YouTube. Leo Omashi TV Accra. Danu wababo te sanye mle. Ngwena wabakwe nye yue mo enite no. Parliament yanko washika gbejano to ke mamu efe gbejano to ke ha cho shika gbe fan gbeno shimon dan wo ba wo yin wo fan wo le age keje ni so chile mi ke boto chinemle kenya hin olulu wo che ni ji wuntumi ajeli le isa ya court olulu shi wiemo ni ya no onake ekome men nu shishin ekome le hu me hu keje na ka shi fese Dani se Frank Male Beni le we feel dan wa wo yen no wa pa ni fe mom na yake ni bi krokume wo ke 90 screw bi umba na saniga o wa bo wo che na do dan kwa akofo ado to ebe ko nehu yo mo nkoma ni kehwehwe e ke agbene ngmene he ni wo she o wa kwa ke aso won fe wo ni bi ojugba aloje na kanji boni ko wa.
Before I take my seat, let me respond briefly to the chairperson on the issue of illegal mining. I want to assure him and all of you that Akonta Mining is not engaged in any illegal mining anywhere in Ghana as we speak. Before I take my seat, let me respond briefly to the chairperson on the issue of illegal mining. I want to assure him and all of you that Akonta Mining is not engaged in any illegal mining anywhere in Ghana as we speak. Further, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has, through the agency of the Forestry Commission, with the assistance of the military, made the effort to cordon off all 294 sites of forest reserves in the country and rid them of illegal mining as we speak. We will continue to work to ensure that this situation remains permanent. This government is determined to win the fight against Galamsey, no matter the cost in effort. Before I take my seat, let me responsible for jailing people in Ghana. The courts in Ghana are independent institutions, and they have been all through this period of the Fourth Republic. People misconduct themselves and they're brought before court. It's for the court to deal with them. That's not a matter.
It has nothing to do about politics.
It has nothing to do with the executive. And their behavior is what lands them in problem with the police. I'm not responsible for jailing people in Ghana. The courts in Ghana are independent institutions.
Yo, be, shikome ko mkaji ufata wewe keke wana shama ya Facebook niji o mashi media eke efifefo. Se Frank wabo wache nanado danko akufu ado tuwe. Iko mie ike kaji otomla ezake mlake bwayi. Ni kenya hiele hwe. Bemli ni Ghana bi lumake meni susu wake ni fonko njano. Ko mining activity ni wache wuntu mi feel wache nanado danko akufu ado le unhanu wanu mshiake. What you want to me is not doing any illegal mining. Allo akunta mining e. Ni chumo ni chumo. Eji ni chumo ni eyekron. Ka won kan to ngene no ni ete no se Frank aso yegbeko no anu kwale je heko lo ma ke tewe mo yo ha te allo to bobone yale ake NDC government led by what John Dramani Mahama fi witch hunting ke krokume aso na kanji boni sane yo.
Bungu.
Okay.
Ni ma job Leebi ne.
A job.
Me o ha me topic enye. Ni ole ko le I think more recap of want to make say. I can't control your editorial. No need ba fe ni ma control. First paper was on Nanado saying that the want to me is not into illegal mining. Which are the want to me mining if you're excellent mining if you're when I want to meet jail, I can tell an authority action. Nana do it by now. Nana do it by. You see, don't be it will boil down on Nana do again. It want to me now. You see, the guy was engaged in illegal mining. Maybe if you're she still. Your man was defending him. If earlier on, and I don't hear, hey, what you are doing is not good there. I'm sure the would have stopped, but I don't know if you. But leader of the nation, oh, none of your Fort Bay, no, can't go and say, you do it. So I see it to be Nanado will just use you, and after everything, they bag more. Like I mean, here. Who to me cannot deny the fact that he was engaging an illegal activity. Hello. Which was not proper. You see, let me be frank with you. I don't want to go into want to make sure if you're mobile, but a mona because there are some people number one more when you're momo. Then I'm a complaint.
Meaning from your state.
You see, you started. You see, Bobo, if you control it, I'll walk out of the studio. I'm telling you. It's your bed, but you're not here. It's your bed. I need Buna, Keguna. Come on, you should know that you can go. Oh, you it's your bed. A fine gentleman.
Honorable.
Oh, Bongo, for being Johnny, won't be Sani Banner. The law must work, and the law is working. Over Bobo to it. Now, what to me, a problem come waji or yeska. You don't surround yourself with reasonable or competent people. In yeska, good lawyers around me. Need they will manage my company. They'll be my counsel all the time. In lawyers, in company issue, allow me to talk about the business square. They'll look into the books. Okay, not if you're correct or you're correct. So they will be advising me legally. Ebeko. It was kind of your fee. You see, what we say here, because the court was clear. Come on, you see, the minority did not read the judgment before they went ahead to speak. Yes, it was judgment. They were ridicule. Okay, what to be as a jail, is a political prisoner. Judgment you clap for the judge. I'm telling you, you clap for the judge. Mrake, Danny Bo. In concession, can have a connection here. No, it's an minister family aside here account authorization here. Allow approval. Who didn't do it? No, I can't a lawyers, the company, No, we need to take the minister's approval letter from the minister before. Okay, reclamation where, but reclamation you have to give the person money to engage in that. Or how much? Okay, you pay coconut. The coconut then I have any coconut. It's any mining activity by an Jimmy. Ni bono come up where okay, let FNA catch iska because reclamations are not iska. If the banana sky, so they engage. Illegal money no after minute. You see how the thing was going. No, I can't. See, let me tell you the truth. What to be problem here? Bongo. My another scenario. Bongo. Nobody can deny the fact that who to me is guilty of the offense. Ele. How come Akeshi Ashanti Regional Chairman of the MPP in Nasani? Keba court will go yes. Party short will go USA. They will change and go. Allo steady. Look at the people around you. What advice can they give you? All the nation. Nanado just use one to me to achieve what he wants. Nanado immunities. Now move to me. You don't have such immunities. A banner. Then the last thing Nanado spoke about Akeshi, money a jail on me. She arrest is being done by the Ghana police, and the court will now give judgment that she jailed. No, it's true. We have 3 arms of government, and their functions must be independent of the other. You can't interfere with the work of the other. So the work of the executive has been done. Court might decide you're guilty, I'll be guilty. What another you and calling like a jail Jimmy. It was more. She caught there. The money was more. She did illegal. I'm calling me. So what has changed today? It was my money was more money. That's why I keep on telling MVP owner. They have dual mouth. Tomorrow, like it's okay. It's not okay. It will be a car will move to be more. Over the Mahamani will more. Mahamani will more. Then. Nobody knows they will go and see the president and the Akpa president if I need her to me. Pardon. I don't know what you call amnesty. Bongo. Where be any multi amnesty. Okay. Me be fee. Mama, what I basa keshile. Mene bono ni mo hamuko amnesty. Okay. Bono ba ke mo hamuko amnesty ko. We hamuko amnesty. How can a person give amnesty? Need more amnesty no can okay I'm 3 4 months make I'm for 1 month you will why do be more mama me na amonye bomo okay president mama amnesty war because get amnesty pay abajele ko ni mama sumo na abajele don e we amnesty so I you know ke we offense na wa show there because ese o jele mi no so na ke fi obo e ka pay. That's my point. In a nutshell, bongo who to me if jeje po wale ona jeje ke 20 years to count 20 years e ba rele ko carry literally ke 20 years 40 years ba 20 years old machine okay 81 years if 21 years no e be the same thing. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Tomorrow about 40 years 20 years 20 years she o ba run fair tomorrow 20 years na kai for 20 years neighbor. The other case is also waiting for him. Imagine boy nowhere no le leche e fe na ka man in mining activity which is illegal. Okay, the na polo ko o he wale fi hamuku na abu 40 years no ni to adumo mi no fi nwe. Are you getting what I'm saying? So who to be sane here mobo but I'm another you much wa nyamo boko agbena be onu aka ebi kwa case wa agbena ata in 2 weeks time agbena judgment you can no who can in the political imprisonment can be they have terms scam my mom ko ele emra na ejuma obi chi obi dia enye
she said kemuna kokwe the ex administration well NDC many are prosecutor me am ba shetamo enye
obongo whether I share 5 or 6 so I can tell you an authority okay most of the prosecution that were carried out by the MPP in 2001 2002 I'm telling you an authority okay it was just to aka momoko ni ake o ni wo ba o me justa wo momo ame I can give you kuma chikata momo na mole over what say Later, the man came out to fight for his freedom.
Ignorant.
Oh, between it was PE. Come on, Victor Salo be put on mole. Hey, you know that those days say within 2-3 weeks now, boy. At jail, no, I can fast track. At jail, no. If you look like I have a fast track of me.
Okay.
I'm going to have to travel.
Okay, you do bad. Oh, good morning.
Good morning, Yami.
Okay, we're back. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Good you bad.
Yeah, still I used to acquire no back.
We're back.
Naka.
We're back. Naka you do bad. Ona okay, ni sani na eba o choko bi eke hukuro. Maso ni bo o mo mi nkuku eke what the main topic e no. Ko ko e boni sani e ete ba ke kro kuma fe. Api o ba anya tuni. Lo bo mi jo jo chomo few here neken.
Ejami good morning na gbe. Is when you don't have much information of something or you no know small with common mind. That is what brother Eba really been and I'm so ashamed of his caliber doing that so that in going forward about that information or juba no kanimi or juba konika but you don't have much information to that. Manga Mekume, Manga Paul, Awintemini, Afoko, our incoming national chairman. Any share as a party, NPP or Tao Mokoni, he can discipline Baba party emi. Mokoni echu ekuda, ne a track record. Ni mofia mole ni chumo ni echu. Ni ka Tao Moko ni eba here party atawa German on me je sebita fracha adiya on me naka na tawo so wa fire ke constituency executives regional executive nya wo fe no ni is 2 Greater Accra regional elections by I am for my bet for 3 people which to me their work exceed the others contesting. Mofia money J here ke contest your job. Okay, Ojo you have sacrificed yourself to come and serve the party. That one is a good applaud for you. But we need people who are committed, people who have the party at heart. That is the reason why Makpa Faka in the organizer position Greater Accra. Nya wo fe wo chairman Collins Kofi Asante. Chairman Collins Kofi Asante Echuni wa and during his time he was a co-chair for the region Echuni Ebuamena ni wofe wona etnitwumo ne etwu so ke ehye eko ni bia ne was sitting on here Greater Accra 3 out of 34 on me then sani wo mokoni ebanye wawo ni wo win wo sit back me I know that 2028 it will reverse. They will go for the 3 seats and we will take the rest from them. Then again, so Chairman Kofi Asante can number 2. A can number 2. So Makpa from fair money because he can vote Chairman Kofi Asante for the regional organizer. A can number 2. Then deputy organizer Gideon Ni and Pemsaki Ablukumasa to be one on me she I we mo kwake wono no cheme alomi malenti mo fair money contest deputy Greater Accra secretary position no che eba no che Gideon and Pemsaki e can number 1 ni awale in general Dr. Okoboy is going for the chairmanship. We see we need the youthful exuberance holding positions ni FA4 ni ebua youth ni mo fair mo banye ebenka me ni wo dwomoni wo yo okay baba ni wo chaki Greater Accra. Then we are, if we can reunify Greater Accra, if we can rebuild Greater Accra, recapture Greater Accra, the chairman we should seek for is Dr. Okoboy Bolele Okoboy former health minister ofane elehun eka number 2 ni awale inyemi to misane na awio Sabi ledenche wie momi ike na enyeba awiyake na onye jail whom have you jail so from literal understanding it means it's a scapegoat ba wie onmesh awia no yen na abunya ke moko ejuska moko efene na monye mo ke wo prison ke lele den wo kemene from your own statement, meaning it is a straight scapegoat, a political prisoner, like we are saying. Now, what is the issue? The issue is simple. To the Summer Boy case, that is what we are referring now. That's where the judgment has come. And I have commented, and he himself come and comment on the platforms that I have sent my opinion into that. The thing is, if you are a trial judge, oye higbe, akeshi obaha o ruling or judgment. But when a matter is, or when a matter has been sent to the Supreme Court, seeking clarification on the particular constitutional law. Now, by you suke jele more. To my opinion, you don't go ahead to do what? To declare your ruling or judgment. Why? Because one na eko ye wo ma na emida. Koni waka na kind back and forth me kometo her ladyship Audrey should have waited. Ona ni ebo application ni doctor lawyer Tachia send ke the Supreme Court. Okay, I am seeking clarification on the constitutional interpretation of the law you are using to prosecute my client. I think this is clear. If Supreme Court explains this, then it becomes a reference point. Akeshi keje was no ko happen na kayen. One na interpretation, that's how law operates. One na interpretation of anyone do mono. Okay, in the case of wound to me versus the state, this is the trend in the Supreme Court, and it's clear that is the turn of the MPP. We are not talking about nobody accounting. We believe in accountability. We believe in a fair prosecution. Let the law be the law. Let justice prevail. Fair justice. Onimish Jahakeshi, because of here power, Oba collide with state institution ofenoni. The matter, that is it. Now, we have seen instances like the Chakujikata's case that he mentioned of versus the state, where then Chakujikata was the CEO of the GNPC. When you are a CEO, you are just doing it on behalf of your boss, the president, right? Where a ruling from the Fast Track High Court proved that they should jail him. Okay, they should jail him where he was jailed. But then the law within, there was not an amendment, was saying that his crime that he committed should be of 1 to 5 years. I get my point. So they went for an appeal that so the Supreme Court explained all these things, like what Atachia is seeking. Explain that this that you use against Atukata, it is unconstitutional. So I have annulled the ruling, I have reversed the ruling. They went for an appeal, and Tukata won. That is what we are seeking about. In the case of Dr. Zenato and the state, where the matter went, the trial court ruled without waiting for the case that Zenato has sent to Supreme Court. The Supreme Court sat down, interpreted, and said that the trial court, you are not an emperor of the Constitution. When say somebody is an emperor of the Constitution, I hope you understand. You are not the final say, because there are boss. Trial court, judge, boss is Supreme Court to be here. On me, so no one may have interpretation. Kony if you want to mumpo easy habo, and they reverse the case, as in the case of Bakan Energy versus the states. It was an explained at the Supreme Court. That is the clarity we are seeking about that. The account that you said you have raised into me, there must be a constitutional law explaining things to that. Now they want to make cases like this. No what tabiye. Bobo Juho say hello. Kemene onyo ofe host ni sabi papa le ni tashe eba fe okela ke eba fe ke eba fe ni noko happen ye bie na mo na ba blame le aba blame bo me
na mi hale igbe ake eba riba chunia
ni no hale igbe o la ke eba ba cause noko ni mi ne ko ni sana blame bo
be mi hale igbe no keji ba bi keje nwe ake na mo han igbe ni neke ni nete lo
ni money fe ni problem ba bie mi na ba fele ke chu ni ye bie mi na ba fele
Actually.
Because the cost. Simple logic. To me, every Article 295 of our Constitution, our resources are in the hands of the President. President give what they call concessions. Only concessions. You have the mineral right from the Mineral Commission. We have the concession over the area, and yes, as my brother said, where I see an error from to me was you should have gotten approval from the lands minister then and the lands commission. That is what, if you want to forfeit or give your concession to someone, there must be an approval from them so that your name doesn't attach to it. That person's name comes in. That is where I see the error point there. In even that, the person he gave to, he said, go and plant coconut. Notwithstanding, but Madisani, Nete, Lehoya Fe illegal, to Mobenu Owie, Boni, Boji hoste, Tikenokoba, Boji, the first person about now Bibu or interpretation. Many are involved. The state attorneys then finds a way to call one of them that you do know what to, and in law they do. They can convince you that if you can testify or witness for the state, for you would damn your case because you are not a substantive mission. And one of them who is ungrateful, then that witness and said things. You see what happened to him? It happened to a friend. Then, because it is on paper, you that the concession was given, they come for you. Yes, in law or in land commission, if you don't wait for the approval for your concession and you go ahead, the first initial was 6 months to 2 years in prison, or you pay a fine. Do you remember somebody by the name Aisha One? Okay.
Aisha One. Now
illegal. As a state, what did we do to Aisha One? But you see, we are killing industries. Foreigner there, okay, indigenous, okay,
no, I'm mistaken.
That is where I'm coming from. What do you say? In with this, I'm not saying that get the law. The law is a law, but let the interpretation come, like I was saying. Now, the amended one is that anybody that goes within 15 years to 25 years. So the trial court judge look on that and say that then I'll give you 20 years, taking off the 5 years. Are you getting me? So the clear point here I am trying to say is that Ibanya happened to Mofiamo. Yes, it's also some point. When the fact is that we speak, some point if any my name in your good in so when you do that, even if you are doing the right thing, anyone will tell you that a contaminant is not legally wrong. They have the license. But you see, more only few more about 1,000 habo. So with all what I said, you could see that yes, like I said, the trial court you have Igbe, but when the Supreme Court, somebody, the lawyer for the one you want to jail, is seeking clarity from where the Supreme Court that okay, I understand your work, but explain to all of us that this is the law that you have interpreted to prosecute my client. Koni efe ipi yesen sen na ho ama dache nebesi bia ne nyina no bia nkwa akire. Then we go and look at it because there is a case between Joseph Yamin, my friend from Ashanti, who is the organizer who is involved in Galamsey, and Kofi Abanga and others, and they know. So that in going forward there, we will not delay time because there is a precedent. You could say that I mentioned the precedent between Chachudi Kata and the state. That is same like this, Senator and the state having that mentioned, so that it makes it clear to everybody reading through the ruling that yes, near you took your time. They said justice is something is no something is they have a term in law. is slow, but it gives
grind slowly.
but it gives a fair judgment. So, like I'm saying, if leadership already should have taken her time. Supreme Court interpret what lawyer Atachi has brought. Supreme Court interpret it that okay, this can is in reference to the Constitution article so and so 19 so and so. On that count, so is the reason why he's at fault. Refer the matter to the High Court for the judge's ruling. And to judge, when you give your ruling, but because you have the authority, you are sitting in, or feel like appeal. It's a waste of time, and it's also creating what the panic. Same year, Macpafai, Sebita Flache, went to me. We have a code in our constitution in reference to we have something soft hands for the person. One fight His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. One papa fight. Father, you are the president of the state. One papa fight. You feel a stay good. Koni nikaba modiba chena sokakra. On papa fight. Martin Pebumpo Ewiake 20 years in our alonuko. Amaleba, their lawyer say 20 years. Mina come of family wiake. We back over punishment, but 20 years don't have more. That is the question we are all talking about. Even I gave an instance of Aisha 1, ni China ni lepo efite than this say at the end no more hey man, we can let him pay the fine. I mean, want to me pay the fines on me. No what threaten they sign certain bonds. Okay, nka mi infe na kan ni bi edo. Into His Excellency John Dramani. Just you are not the one who you are not a judge, but as a certain president, but who ye higbe. Nini akeya Supreme Court na interpret judges are now appointed. Well, for only be no fiole. Why higbe in na back 2017 we were having authority to jail Ibrahim Mamenko. Those who took double salaries. Alobi Male. Okay. And the law was clear, like what we are saying, the law is the law. But at the end of the day, we notice Akeshi, Kawofina, Kamin Wabana, about one target opposition. One pafai. Okay. Below. One pafai, nega money anyway, Yamuna Pramanake, Mokobiake, a Nuchume, companies may shike Krukume, Bemlin and other close or banks, Krukume, no, Adriake, Nakambia, Mekomele, companies, workers neighbor. Since no Cabano, the Mabu, it was short. The banks was necessary for a cleanup exercise that has even putting our economy even under them on a smoother path. The Bank of Ghana currently, ASMA has even stated it. My Setekbe, their former minister, have even commented on its positive direction because at that particular time we're having a chance of banks who were not most were rural banks were not licensed. Some also were going beyond board. You go for a loan and the even interest rate on it. Okay. Let us be realistic. Around 30, by which they were not conforming to what the Bank of Ghana wanted to do. Some of them to many private businesses. And we know, let us stop that policy. And I mean, all lie on the Central Bank of Ghana to regulate it. On me, she said, men's good other banks now I feel consolidated. Kaji I feel consolidated. Abana amishkaye. No, oh well. Are you getting the point? So the thing has a pro and cons. She honorable. Man is a frank. Kaji nakaya alemkwen. Nkweni seneni wache John Dramani Mahama ke NDC ba NCA. Best kwanza me close down stations babao. She me higbe ni amechu ameni no na meke fi chake mo me no na gambia. I like the question that you raise. Me higbe. If NDCs will speak the truth and everybody and including you banks ni aclose me time duration ni ameke sa no ni amefe ni egba woman na some of them were adamant because they think to mobe no where or nya feminine. Some even took the money, somebody's money, Frank's money that he has saved in your bank. You take it and give it to your girlfriend to go to Dubai.
Okay.
You see, let's call a spade. Let's speak the truth in this country.
Okay. We'll be fine. Say Frank, keji uwata inu ke budget after low washing go next time. Because we'll be fine by 8:30
First, let me touch on the banking cleanup exercise. There is no justification for the banking cleanup exercise that was carried out by the MPP. Jomo Kuben Bongo. Oyamo 9 billion. No, I pay your copy.
Ben na can pay.
No, 25 billion. So that's why I say it doesn't make sense. And you see, one of the reasons why the MPP lost the election, and some of these decisions, I'm being frank. You can't tell, come on, in this, in a new tema, member, ni other boat, lot of them machine, in Kalagaje, I'm telling you. In Kalagaje, no, I bought, I want, I can't know ni kwenda makanveleni. He was telling me how the banking sector cleanup was carried out near affected me. And we were having a conversation. You cannot tell me I can hear you 9 billion, like 25 billion happy. It doesn't make sense. You cannot justify this. Bongo eko Ekpa President Mahama 5. Ekpo President Mahama 1.5. Hey! Hey, Bongo. When you have a God there, when you serve the living God, one day, when you're learner, I'm about touch, I'm about quench na me babu 5. Ah, yeah, me no care. Many are punished on that moment because na do fio. She caught the fio. Imali. Yeah, me no ni Mahama ha muche 3. Pardon na. I get Mahama no dey fear wrong ni. She use mla anyhow. Yeah, me na me. But no bad motion ke Mahama qualify. Ha mo ko pardon. Ha mo ko pardon do. Ne ha muche 3 pardon. If you are congratulated him, oh, President Mahama, you are done. I can't mobile. Square then the Kevin Babiake, okay. Would be accept for some time. I mean, that's what I'm saying. But Otashoke, or back President Mahama 5. Oh, what if I get him? Oh, come here, now, another no Tony ma touch on. You see, law on mining. What kind of actual environmental issues? Ni where EPA, where a lot of mla ni kwa war environment. Ni bother pay the environment activity because you see, in the survival of the human race, we need the environment to survive. Change how no. But I need people now near you. As an environment, it must be protected. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Now that the past mla forest reserves. Kaya forest reserves say, hey, ko ni bi ake oh, onake we're not actually sustainable national development. It is a growth in quantitative and qualitative output of a country over a given period. So actually, it will benefit the present generation and the unborn generation. It will call for no common kayefe buamoy cramology, but not any many afan and way come by quite shiame. Tamabeni won ni make one ni me shake on boy mene. That is how we do it. Old machine. Now, what they for pass like a forest reserve, no aka pay money because Nanado wanted money at all costs with his people. You understand? He passed a law to allow people to go into forest reserve areas. Now, my money, now, I pass like you can go into a forest reserve area. No, I'm mining. No, I'm mining. Hegemony, I'm mining. Tokubla. It I can pass mla. But now, Hana can be mla the high benefit. For about old mission you are. Forest reserves must be protected. But another way, he said that if we don't protect it, don't leave it for the future generations. Let's clear everything now. Those were the things that were wrong. And when people were speaking against Leebi Ŋulami, MBK, NDCB, you was one another standing. Then my brother also touched on Aisha 1. Now, Mole. She want to mean where Analebobo. She are killing Ghanaian industries. Alejana can be. Ofane. Namohani Aisha Huante. Jamie Haneke. It's not me. alamale na mo keleba Jamie keleba nye no nye chele kete chara nya eska bi akeke nye wuni party here nye wuni power have it is the video where ba me here chele na abiska chara Asha what was in there no please
this happened under your government 2014 2015 certain okay
what name is going to train me
Asha won he was in that video very ba me here chele na abiska Asha one was part of the video when the world power Asha one came to Ghana the influx of Chinese in Ghana didn't start with MPP. It started under Kwame Nkrumah. Chinese people are being done. She and another do I'm a bacho because they I pay way hand. Yeah. Oh, I'm not lying. I know about Chinese 5, 10, 15. So I shall want to collect here.
13.
What Mahama has done? 14, you see what I've been saying. Oh, I shall want to let the kill Ghanaian businesses. My business would be business at kilo. So, what to me, I mean, if I enjoy at the expense of thousands of people, come on, some boy, come on, because of what to me, Sanle Nashka, allow a partner, Nashka, ni ma fair after. It's not right. Let's call a spade. No, they here. What to me, that you come on, all I want to be saying, it's unfortunate that I have time. Come on, all that reclamation of land, I can feel. More no care after reclamation, more than do coconut. A new one to the mining. Or type of like after reclamation there land, no the coconut. A new one. Later, because it involves a lot of money here. Okay, more case you run pay, man, they kept family. Reclamation. The more can pay. Oh,
was a part of the ruling.
You've not. Reclamation affair. Over there. Na mo hana kan egbe je wutu mi hana egbe e ke ade adu coconut akoshi ne kefi de ebo enye e ke pay ke ho akoshe nyo na mi no atu mo mine e fio you see onyo it was an afterthought mine nuchu etu de coconut edu okokela ke si oh
ndi na enye sanepa
no but ni wutu mi na keshi eni sane ye ke oh e ke la keshi Every coconut ne ke reclamation. She pardon the interrogation na affair. Actually, ya tutu na no dada. On me see, e what to me, nobody can defend what to me. Fire no pa no touch no pa. Try care what to me. Eto. Let's be honest. You see some of our comments here. When people are watching, like you can't pa financial what to me. Agbana you know you akeshin jail mo na jail wrong comment. Oh, pa ojogba. Go to mo no pa ojogba. She didn't know I can say, me papa, got join or no, not fear, it's out of a can. Meanwhile, I like correcting who to me is aware, even his lawyers are aware. I play a joffrey. I touch on reject my head, my letter, I can show you if I'm going to have. They know, dummy, I can wound to me. On me, see, Mlani, never passed like a mla. It was 2-3 years, never passed like a mla. Now I don't feel like 20 to 50 to 25 years maximum. Iwoje Mahama no court any eto mrana pass ake mran tuni ejake judicial no chumoji eke mraba tuni ewo why do you blame President Mahama in this? It's unfortunate you don't have enough time because man both the case and then back oba budget there
min sumoni ye ba no fana me wan o baba budget you see the service is being done this morning too. My brother is becoming hypocrite this morning. Simple. I admitted and I pointed out where Wuntumiton. Did I mention or I did not? And that was what I was basing upon. And then again, as at this case was around 2021. As at this 2021, Mrani again was 6 months to 2 years. That is where lawyer Atachia was seeking clarification. Are we using this or the current? On me, inti, can it be like a judge? Supreme Court, but okay, well, as at the time incident happened, it was 6 months to 2 years. No, we should go by that, or we should let the new one. That's what lawyer Thatcher was seeking. Are you getting my point? So nobody is saying that don't prosecute. Are you getting my point? And then you said something. There is no empirical evidence and factual fact of transaction between Wontumi and Henry Chum Odum and Co. in the court or whatsoever witness that it happened. Tomobino yake ya do more ke ya do akoshi. Ko lako nyo do akoshi. Mino wafe. Inye.
A kind arrangement was not just coconut. It was mining coconut, mining fitai.
I made quiet when he was talking. Yadu Akoshi. Inye. Mokomo. Ni open agbe no ke o da bi. Akoshi na ke tumubo owie momi e. Akoshi how much will it get? Akoshi ya e Brazil enko. Oba nyo Akoshi poni mino yo. I got my point. Bo tumobeni we in Hamburg. Ya fi Akoshi. Oh ya fi illegal. But all in all, because I gave you my concession, minimum can buy. But it's about she many me yafe. Near me here Ghana. I get my logic here. That's why we are referring to it. Can happen to all of us here. And I was pleading because of the error that I noticed. Okay, there wasn't approval from the land commission, and then the land minister Bujinapo. Is that not what I said? That's why I said John Mama won't qualify. So the fact that there was no approval, the mining activity that was carried on, it was I felt like it was not properly carried out. Nobody is against it.
The judge will factor all this.
If you are listening to my
actions,
please, you are not. If you are listening to my, I have stated all these things, and I said that a lawyer attaching is seeking clarification from the Supreme Court as to whether we are using the 6 months to 2 years in the interpretation of the 15 to 25 years. Okay, law ni are based on the prosecuting to me. Koni FA a reference point in the future. That's what he is explaining. Okay. And you give somebody 25 years.
One hourly minority we more fena
kwashoko budget
okay is empty.
Oh, kwashoko bole kwashoko. Kemo ko na kwashoko. Kwashoko budget na about read. You see, a budget is simply an estimate. Let us be factual to ourselves. Putting political parties aside. Budget is an estimate. An estimate can go higher or can go lower than what you have estimated. I get to my point. So whatever they came to read there, why are we saying it's a kwashoko budget? It's something like a bone without a meat. It's that one. May matter on one point to other. Are you getting my point? When you have an economy whereby we import more and doesn't do export, you cannot employ. And what your Maya Jane? This is just a normal view. When you always import and you cannot export, there is a challenge to your economy. You cannot employ. The reason is simple. Yes, you want to create jobs with a 24-hour economy. You are building market. Market no build over there. Goods na ba sell me baje.
Man say.
KJ man say when you sell everything, you are just building the economy. Their GDP is going higher than you because you are not exporting. Oba wo Chicago. Okay, what they are cooking ba sabi nkuko funu hwan to egg keke. Oba krani nyina de aba no. At the end of the yes, you might be thinking that you are bringing it for your 24-hour economy that they said, but at the end of the day, you cannot employ. Because more money can you more aging scanica. So how many people can need employ? And as I speak to you, I had a conversation with some maize and green people. Anna, ni abani, what we call exportation of greens. We cannot export maize, can it be outside? But meanwhile, we are not protecting local industries. Okay, for example, free SHS ni won fair. Mofia moahe abele alu omo locally. The meaning ke buwe bi hane ko te dodoa environment omo local rights are meye pi ana many amebahe. So at the end of the day, like I said, yes, you think that you are bringing things to them, but ma AI here, and I can only ma ba say me it doesn't create job. both parties or all finance ministers, they should look at it anytime we are reading budget, that we should touch these things. No, because okay, 133. Hello, 133. No, yeah. Did you hear any formation or any positive direction about they will employ people into that? So as a country, we need to look at it. That is one side. Another point of call, if we are unable to generate money within our economy, and any nation that cannot raise revenues, you end up borrowing, and it will not help us. So I am not surprised that they have gone to borrow $800 million, $300 million for the free SHS infrastructures and co. But meanwhile, your previous government, for example, I'm making factual statement. For example, under the free SHS policy, we were using internal generated funds. Are you getting it? So what has changed that you cannot raise internal generated funds to do it, but rather you are going out. That alone is an error. That we need, going forward, we need to look at it. What has happened that you are going for loan to take care of our children who are enjoying free SHS is wrong. Raise internal monies, and it both all of us. Some of us don't pay our taxes, and they okay, I may pay my taxes. I may not say. So get more, pay $8 me. But as Ghanaians, if we want this country to develop or grow, we need to pay taxes, generate more. And if you can generate more, local industries is what you need to factor. I think more local industries are collapsing. Anyway, well, let us put particulate aside. Said it's a phony day. You are aware that local industries are going up because I mean, if you are hey. How do they recruit? How do we again our GDP growth go up? Let me quote my boss, Dr. Yosef. Good morning. When we are doing a growth rate of 3.5, 2.5, and we are saying that our economy is growing, that is not growth. Economy that grows on a consistent GDP of 11.2, successful, consistent for 20 years. Maybe your GDP, like we are saying, you are growing 3.5. Consistent. Okay, consistent. Consistent for 20 years. That is where we see development. Many equally also see this year. We're not positive. The following year, near negative. That is no growth. That is why Obanake Ekole Ake Petre Bashi Basel Skalemami Menya Henoko Kenibia. That is not growth at all. Oh no. So we need to be tackled all. I also heard about something under the Greek sector. Okay, they will build 10, if I'm correct, right? Is that what he said? Because I have not previewed to that. 10, I think, farm centers across. I heard that, if I'm clear. There's nothing wrong with it. But at the end of the day, at our Greek sector, whatever we put in, we should know its impact. Are you getting my point? Let us face reality. Don't be party affiliated this morning. 245 million Ghana cedi. It's a worth of money. I pay. Until we fail any project, so we ensure we have learned from our mistakes. But fetch the purpose that they are bringing it. Okay, fertilize them. Glory be to God. But in all, so no only akeshi cocoa farmers say, "O pay a debt fair." Workers say, "O pay a fair." Because how things are moving with the way we are speaking, okay, the way every finance minister of late come and speak, it doesn't reflect the real nature in our pocket or the economy. And when it happened like that, what happened is that the government now will end up going to borrow because Usika and soon they are there now. Yeah.
So
And we'll be piling up, and at the end of the day, I'm saying, yeah, I'm not a prophet of doom. One here, a bedroom, I want to have a case. Because he is not able to generate internally. So if I'm not able to generate internally to pay, what do I do? And this is the advice, and when you give this critics, somebody somewhere right now will think that, oh, I am no. Critics come so that you take it in good faith, so that you amend it and prove the critics wrong. No, we are there. Oh, but wait. Oh, checking no be coming. The same when they read the main budget, we pointed something. They were able to pick some of the positive, and it helped them. In all, to me, we should move from an action budget reading to a workable budget reading. Ani noni wo real pepe so that ye be to aso kefe pepe moko ba le hu ba fe mini ba fe eko kechano ne wa ma nti won pa fire. But I didn't hear as to whether they will recruit in it. I didn't hear as to whether many security agencies ne anna message come by ya minoko okay, there's an increment of civil servant salary allo na kind enti me na ba wie
ina ga cash je se frank baba ke won ya here amoto ne wana wale ake locally manufactured aloma ke locally produced niji fruit juice awache no by 20%. Okay, ya here won kwe akekeji afi na kan so ba we wale ekolo na kano expert new agric sector won wale ake shikani je mmda se kempote agric sector mi e na gba she first say oba kwe say frank aso amoto ne fruits won ye harvest baba o alo tax system enye te lojugba ni no ni saka won ni ase no ajaje
gbogbo wa do before ni maba media budget no minto ma clear no ko fi o
okay clear
she say frank no ba no issue of 5 minutes o fa ni
no apa
o fa we no kokro ko o fa
bongo then but there's no need for me to because
o fa
bongo bana
o fa we 5 minutes but we no kokro
my party hierarchy they are watching they will be any mama
get drama for no jule won wa ni okay
ju e bi e ba I'm not the one to determine
ma bigbe
bongo ani
o fa ma bigbe o fa
okay, bongo let's start. Bongo.
Yes sir.
I'm a clear in there within 1 minute. I'm a booty me.
Go small clear with 5 minutes.
Be a bomb ballroom. When you raise fund internally, you will be an one ya capital market they will borrow. You see, no one go back MPP I made a problem. Bongo one. Agananado, there was severe borrowing. You were about to do actually debt restructuring. To the extent that what the capital market potential unash can borrow. So it has to take a leader like President Mama. Close to 2 years there. This is our first time of going to the capital market board. One, it means all along we've been able to generate money internally.
So what has happened?
You see,
we are discussing a positive vibe.
People like this want me my soldier. I'm telling you, people like this my soldier.
No, but come on, family.
Much when you are talking out, you get to my tent, then you are making, you don't want me to talk. I don't get it. You will not touch one of those. I don't care like a bar. Bongo, why? So, okay, what they want borrow? You see, to close to 2 years, the Bako President Mahama government in borrow.
Domestic borrowing there.
We are not able to raise money internally. For the past 1.5 years, Kenya, it was internally generated.
Domestic borrowing of 13 billion.
No be far, will be 830
maybe because let me talk about everything I have to say. I can't say it because time e wete
Eba Monday.
time ete me we be on my
Monday baba. Wo Ŋulami.
Boy akọ wo fa ne wo be fa.
No bongo nani ma budget ma botem bia because of now you know we care growth bia na what grow by 2%.
I never mentioned 2%.
Okay, growth at 2%. No, you know, okay, growth 2%. Which strong?
I cited 3.5, and when you are unable to do consistent, then I can hear.
Okay, growth. Kake economic growth. It can be negative, it can be positive. If it is +1, it is growth. But when it is in a negative, even though it is growth there, Jenny Papani. So if a country like Ghana is even growing by 1% there, it is good. Do you understand what I'm saying? So growth is not about 20%, 30%. Whether 1% per growth there, every quarter potential growth
it should be consistent.
Have you run into negative growth? Maybe go. So why are you talking about consistent growth? Bongo, I'm telling you, I can see you can't control Lambert. I'm telling you.
No, me too. I get Monday.
1 minute upon the shop, and instead of telling him to stop what he's doing, all like Benay. Bongo, I know Kubla Future statutory funds, allow statutory payment. You get when you want generate car. All the state institutions, have you heard that? NHIS, many statutory funds have been paid. Bongo, Bawana.
Oh, so I income more. Hey, you are. Go, Bello, over here. Come on, go.
Bongo, statutory funds are paid. Without borrowing, are paid. I pay. Oh, NHIS back to
Monday
we'll go into all these things.
What is this?
We'll go into all these things Monday. Domestic borrowing of 130 billion Ghana cedi. External borrowing of 800 million.
Intellectual discussion.
Okay, 90s crew be on banana stand back and call. I'm a famous.
What can I use 2 minutes?